Said begins his essay with, and I quote, "Domination and inequities of power and wealth are perennial facts of human society." Said uses terms such as domination and perennial to perhaps emphasize the destruction and solemnity that he believes Conrad's writing has. We can see the concepts and philosophies of colonialism and the imperial viewpoint behind his narrative form that Said believes is present in Heart of Darkness. Before I begin my understanding of Said's two visions in Heart of Darkness, and to get at what his fundamental insight into the text and its attitude to colonialism is, I wanted to be sure I understood colonialism. So I looked it up. According to dictionary.com, colonialism is the policy or practice of acquiring full or partial political control over another country, occupying it with settlers, and exploiting it economically. In Edward Said's two visions in Heart of Darkness, the central argument about Heart of Darkness is that although the European powers left their colonies, they still retained rule over the morals, education, and the Western values Conrad clearly attains in his writing over an indigenous society. These types of issues were significant during this time while gesturing toward a different way of observing the world and how it can change the interpretation of the novel altogether, making it one of the better known and vindicated imperialist writings. Said challenges to depict the customs that are unlimited sovereignty after the decline of formal colonialism. Said discusses how the different elements in Heart of Darkness come together to create Conrad's personal political idea. His essay appeals more to reason with facts and evidence more so than Achebe's image of Africa. This essay strikes me more as credible, as Said does not use anecdotes. In Achebe's Image of Africa, the central argument about Heart of Darkness was how Conrad failed to depict Africa and Africans lawfully, giving a false image of the place. He builds his argument by using numerous examples to back up his dispute of the characters that are displayed using his botched representation of Africa. His essay appeals to more emotion and word choice, however, he does relay some facts I especially liked, such as when he gives background to Conrad, mentioning how he was born in 1857, which is the same year, I quote, in which the first Anglican missionaries were arriving among my own people in Nigeria. The word choices Achebe uses to involve himself in his essay to oppose Conrad's writing goes to show how experience and understanding can be rooted individually given the reader's point of view. This essay strikes me more as persuasive, as he uses more personal experience to explain how Conrad is clearly not the best suitor when it comes to disclosing a tale such as Heart of Darkness. He did not go too much on factual evidence and more so just personal anecdote. He defines Conrad as a racist, as everything about the story is racist, including his characters. There were not any specific terms that stood out to me in Achebe's, other than when he speaks of Conrad's famed evocation of the African atmosphere. I found it interesting how he used that to term how Marlowe recalls the tale in his mind, and when he mentions antithesis in his essay to describe the contrasting effect that occurs in Heart of Darkness. I do not necessarily think I have a different perspective on the text because I do agree with Achebe in some aspects. I like how his writing is rooted in experience, and that can just show how different writings affect different people and their standpoints on the matter. I have, however, learned to appreciate Said's standpoint for the mere fact that it appeals to more truths and evidence. I also feel Said almost has more credibility as he is considered the father of post-colonial criticism. I feel being more educated on the author and their reasons for writing can change the way I take in their publications. I've noticed I become more understanding of their work, knowing certain things about the writer. After rereading Said's essay again, I found it more compelling as I can see it adds on to the racist views Conrad writes about versus Achebe's persuasive argument on the racism in Conrad's Heart of Darkness and how his personal encounters of ignorance and lack of knowledge when it came to African literature in an established institutionalized culture. Said lawfully debates how the catastrophes of imperialism have had perpetual effects on European powers.